Matbhakta itat vijnana matpayo padayate ite shektam tata jnanam kneyam shuktam samashtaha matbhakta itat vijnana matbhavayo papadyate iti. Oh no, sorry. You can also repeat if you want, Prabhus. Iti chektam takya jnanam gnam chuktam samastaha matbhakta ite vijnaya matpayo patayate ite chektam takya jnanam Shiknem Shuktam Samastastaha Matbhakta Itat Vijnaya Matpavayo Papayate Ite Chektam Tata Jnanam Knet Shuktam Samastataha Matbhakta Itat Vijnaya Mataji's. Chektam tata jnanam gnam chuktam samasataha matbhakta itat vijnaya matpavayo papayate iti sus thus. Kshetram, the field of activities, the body. Tata, also. Jnanam, knowledge. Kneyam, the knowable. Cha, also. Uktam, described. Samastaha, in summary. Matbhaktaha, my devotee, etat, all this, vijnana, after understanding, matbhavaya, to my nature, upapadyate, attains. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Thus the field of activities, the body, knowledge and the knowable have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this truly and thus attain my nature. Purport. The Lord has described in summary the body, knowledge and the knowable. This knowledge is of three things: the knower, the knowable, and the process of knowing. Combined, these are called vijnana. All the signs of knowledge. Perfect knowledge can be understood by the unalloyed devotee of the Lord directly. Others are unable to understand. The monetists say that the ultimate stage, these three items becomes one. But the devotees do not accept this. Knowledge and development of knowledge means understanding oneself in Krishna consciousness. We are being led by material consciousness, but as soon as we transfer all consciousness to Krishna's activities and realize that Krishna is everything, then we attain real knowledge. In other words, knowledge is nothing but the primary stage of understanding devotional service perfectly. In the 15th chapter, this will be clearly explained. And now to summarize, one may understand that verse 6 and 7, beginning from Mahaputani and continuing through Chaitanya Dirti, analyze the material elements and certain manifestation of the symptoms of life. These combine to form the body, or the field of activities. And verse 8 through 12, from Aman Vitam through Tattva Dhyanartata Darshanam, describes the process of knowledge for understanding both types of knower of the field of activities, namely the soul and the supersoul. Then verse 13 through 18 begin from Anadi Matparam and continuing through Hiridi Sharvasya Vishitam, describes the soul and the Supreme Lord or the Supersoul. Thus, 3 items have been described: the field of activities, the body, the process of understanding, and both the soul and the supersoul. It is especially described here that only the unalloyed devotees of the Lord can understand that 3 items clearly. So for the devotees, Bhagavad Gita is fully useful. It is they who can attain the supreme goal, the nature of the Supreme Lord, Krishna in other words. Only devotees and not others can understand the Bhagavad Gita and diverse desired results. Sorry, my throat is a little bit. Omega-noptirandasya tanandela chalakshaya shakshutamitam nina tasma shri gume namaha chi chaitanya manobishtam stapitam dena bhutalim swavabhadamayam tasmiksam pranamtikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita lecture. Very happy that many devotees were coming. It's very nice or very interesting in the first part of the purport that Prabhupada is describing that, where we have it, the unalloyed devotees of the Lord can understand the Lord directly. Others are unable to understand. I mean, it's very interesting, also a clear statement that we have to become a devotee of the Lord to understand the Lord. So what is then the question, what is a devotee of the Lord? Maybe Sham wants? I think also Haridas Thakur can also say something, Prabhu. What is a devotee of the Lord? Yeah, it's nice. Somebody else?
Somebody who chants Hare Krishna.
Yes, that's also very nice. It also means that we have to understand first of all what is our position to become a devotee of the Lord. Basically our position is a servant. And we always have to serve in this material world. If we don't serve Krishna, then we serve our family, our wife, our kids, our boss at work. We always have to serve. That's our position in the end. But unfortunately, most of the people don't understand this, and they try to enjoy the material nature and also want to become Krishna by themselves, so they can, or they think they can get more and more enjoyment. And these people are not able to understand the Krishna. I mean, I can just speak for myself. When I first was getting the Bhagavad Gita from Sabucha in the temple, I was reading the Bhagavad Gita and it was like, okay, I don't understand anything what is written in here. It's very nice, but I have no clue what it is. But then over time, to purification and service to the devotees, Krishna gives us also knowledge from within and inspiration, so we can understand more and more the Bhagavad Gita, what is written here, what Krishna is describing. And mostly we are depending on the mercy of senior devotees or of a guru who understand already this knowledge perfectly and can give it to us. So we can always approach them and taking shelter of them, because they already understood the Lord, who is Krishna and what he wants. That's the reason why they can teach us. It's very important to always take shelter of the senior devotees, of the gurus, ask for their blessings, seeking or try to serve them. Because with this, Krishna will be very happy. And when Krishna is very happy, he gives us knowledge. Like it's said later, Krishna is, or Prabhupada is always saying, Krishna gives us everything and reveals the knowledge in the heart. We just have to surrender unto him, or the devotees, or the guru, and then everything automatically will come. And we see this clearly in the past of ISKCON, with the devotees who basically just were recruited from the street from Prabhupada. And I was reading last time the pastimes of Prabhupada, where the devotees then basically given the instruction, okay, you start now printing books, go and get the knowledge, Krishna will help you. But the devotees in the hand had so much trust in Prabhupada, and Krishna said, okay, when Prabhupada said it's true, and then we do it. And then now we have so many books, what we can read, what we can distribute. So that's very nice. It's also stated, we are being led by material consciousness, and most of us knows what we were doing before Krishna consciousness. We were doing so much nonsense, eating meat, taking drugs, and playing computer games or handy phones or whatever. So our consciousness, it's always engaged in material things and not in spiritual things. And then Prabhupada later also says, but as soon as we transfer all consciousness to Krishna activities and realize that Krishna is everything, then we attain real knowledge. Basically, in other words, means we have to transform our consciousness to spiritual activities. Doesn't mean we have to give up our nature or change our nature. That's super difficult. But we can engage these habits, what we have, or this attachment in Krishna consciousness. Like, for example, a person who like to do technical stuffs, and then instead of playing around, he can take care of the online streams or whatever. Some people like to cook. They start to cook. Some people like to sing, like Prabhu, who sing very nicely. So they engage there, or my wife, she can also sing very nice. So they engage their talent in Krishna's service, and through this we transform our consciousness, because then we always start to think, oh, what can I do for Krishna tomorrow? I mean, especially the Sankirtan devotees know this. They're always thinking, oh, how can I give more and more people Krishna in form of the books? That's the reason why Prabhupada always was saying we should use our intelligence. Then also Krishna is helping us. And at one point, we even dream of Sankirtan, so we have spiritual dreams, what else we want. I had it once when I was traveling with Sabucha Prabhu. We were basically 24 hours basically busy in preaching, Sankirtan, prasadam distribution, and I don't know, after 6 months I started to dream, even in my dreams, how we were going on festivals and distributing prasadam and have kirtan to the people. So that's basically 24 hours busy in Krishna consciousness. Unfortunately, we still have the material body, we have to rest, we have to take sleep and take care of it. But it's possible to be engaged always in Krishna consciousness and fix the mind completely. Unfortunately, our mind is very flickery, it's going from here to there. It's always accompanied by the 6 enemies of the senses, of the mind. That's the reason why Prabhupada also say in the CC, we should never trust our mind when she says, and our mind says something. We basically better always confirm with Shastras and senior devotees if we have some ideas when we are not complete sure if that's the right idea. We should always ask for advice, because the mind can very easily mislead us. to some nonsense ideas. I mean, I had also my experience. I get some nonsense ideas. Oh, I can go alone to preach on some hippie festival. In the end, what happened? I was not fixed in my devotional service, and then mind say, no problem. One joint is okay, but in the end, you go somewhere else. That's the mind. I mean, may somebody wants also to share some experience with his mind? Not online, okay, no problem. But in the end, that's how strong the mind and the senses are. They can carry us easily away if we are not very careful. Even in the temple, it's super easy. We just think, 10 minutes on YouTube is okay to watch something. And then 2 hours later, you're still on YouTube and watch something else. I mean, everybody was making this experience. So there we can see how strong basically our mind is in the sense enjoyment. The mind wants to enjoy, the ego wants get satisfaction. But in the devotional service, we basically working for Krishna's satisfaction, that Krishna or Lord Narasimhadev is very happy. Basically means the temple always looks very nice and clean, we cooking very nice prasadam, all the pots and everything is super clean for the next cooking for the Lord. That basically should be our engagement, that we, because Prabhupada is always giving the example with the body, that the belly is digesting and all the other parts are working for the belly, the hands are cutting nice foods, the tongue is enjoyment. And in Krishna consciousness movement in ISKCON, basically Krishna is the belly and all the other parts are working just for the satisfaction of Krishna. And when Krishna is happy, we become also automatically happy. I mean, I always experience this when we have big festivals here in Samhachalam, and you're in the kitchen or in charge of something, and first of all, you always had super headaches. Oh, will everything be function? Will all the people coming in time and doing the seva? Hopefully I don't have to search them. You get so much anxiety. And then normally what happens for me, because in the end it's also our controlling habits, that we want to control the things, that the mind wants to be in charge of the things. But then my experience is, at one point you're anyway so exhausted that you think, okay Krishna, whatever, I'm just doing my seva and the rest is up to you. And 90% of the times then you become very detached, super happy, and the things are working without any big endeavor. And after the festival, you may totally exhausted materially, but you get a lot of spiritual energy and you're super happy, super energetic. That's at least my experience, what I have. It's also like on Sankirtan, if there's a whole day out on the street and if you're getting mental, after 4 or 5 hours you don't want anymore, you're super exhausted, you just want to go back in the van, eat some prasadam and lie down for sleeping. But if you're always thinking, how can I give the people Krishna in form of the books, then you become very inspired and very enthusiastic, and then Krishna gives inspiration from within to deal with the people. We always have this in Leipzig, and Dwarkadish Prabhu is going to festivals and selling prasadam. And then we're always thinking, how we can get the people to taste the prasadam. And then you're just standing there and you're praying to Krishna. Okay, let me be just your instrument. And then you get some funny, I have to say it in German, some funny Sprüche to attract the people. Like, for example, with Pakoras, you want to some fried love, it's very nice. And then the people also have to start laughing and they come and be attracted. Yeah, that's very interesting. And then we also have here, and Prabhupada is also describing in the last part, so 3 items have to describe the field of activity, the body, basically, like I was saying, our body, our mind, ego, intelligent, that we first have to understand who are we. We are basically the body, not the body, we are spiritual soul. We are always the servant of the Lord. Because everybody, like I was saying, have some desires or some natural talents, and just the thing that we have to engage it in the devotional service. that we have to do something out of it. If he's lying the whole day upstairs and sleeping and reading, it's nice, but not so much will happen. At least that's my experience. Then the process of understanding, when we know that we are the soul and not the body, then comes the practical part. How I can understand this in my spiritual life, because as we live in the material world, is always up and down, attachment, detachment, etc. But we have to learn to become, that the things cannot affect us. I mean, now it soon will start with snow, it's getting cold outside, but also summer will come. What to do? Just accept it and deal with it. Don't listen so much to your mind. At least my experience makes the life very easy if you don't listen too much to your mind. I mean, like Haridas Prabhu, he also were coming back from Sankirtan because it was too much for the mind, I think. But it's complete fine in the beginning, it's happened to everyone. We just have to continue, and that's very important to have very good friends in Krishna consciousness, who we always can open up if we have something and they can give good advices. At least that's my experience. And for this we also have some senior devotees who we always can ask for something. We always should take shelter of the devotees, because what we can do by our own, not so much. We can clearly see this. And then what we have? And both the soul and the super soul. Then basically, if we really understand that we are the soul and not the body, basically also includes practical understanding, from which I'm very far away. But you could see on Prabhupada that he was clearly understanding that he is not the body, that he is the soul. That's the reason why he could do so much. I mean, he basically was sleeping, if you read the Prabhupada diary, that he was just sleeping 2-3 hours in the night, and if he was even sleeping and just writing books, traveling all over the world. And imagine, I mean, we cannot really understand it, because we don't have a body of a 70-year-old person, we still have a young body. But if you see elderly people, they have this disease, that, they cannot really travel anymore. I mean, when we were visiting, we will soon move to Simhachalam, we were visiting an older couple, and they also were saying, oh no, we are now 72, and the garden is too much, this is too much, we have pain here and there, and we want to keep it nice and quiet. So, I mean, these people can actually really appreciate and understand what Prabhupada was doing for us. And how much effort Prabhupada basically was doing to come to the West and giving us this knowledge. And why here? I mean, he could also stay in Vrindavan, chant very happy and nicely, have everyday darshan. But he was following the instruction of his guru to come to us, to give us this knowledge, to rescue us. Basically, we are very fallen souls. Because without Prabhupada, I mean, who knows what we were doing? Actually, some nonsense, at least me, I can say. If I would be even alive with all the stuff what I was doing. So, we should be very thankful to Prabhupada and try to please him. Now then is the question, how we can please Prabhupada the most, what was making him the most happy and the most inspiring, and what was it? Haribo, book distribution, Harinam Sankirtan. The best is books, prasadam and Harinam. Then Prabhupada always were very happy when all these three things combine, because it's not for everybody to stand the whole day on the street and distributing books, because this can be very exhausting, it's my experience. Then it's also okay to distribute some prasadam, some energy boards, whatever, or just doing a sitting Harinam in the city, put some books in the front, is also complete fine. But the best thing is when all three things are combined. I think was in New York with Vishnu Chan Prabhu, they had basically a shift Harinam over the day. So they were doing 2 or 3 shifts, I don't know anymore, 2 shifts I think, always 8 hours up and down the street. And then we're coming back to the temple, continue Harinam there, and the other Harinam shift we're going out on the street and doing Harinam. So that's very enthusiastic. I mean, imagine you go in the city and then you see the devotees whole day going up and down the street and doing Harinam. I mean, you only can become a devotee and very enthusiastic. So that's very nice. I mean, it's also like I was meeting the devotees first. I was hearing the devotees in the morning program and smelling the incense, and then was thinking, why they are so happy in the morning? When I stand up this time to going to work, I'm not very happy. So they must do something right. And then I start to visit them, and some or other, with the mercy of the devotees, I'm sitting here. So nothing is impossible in Krishna consciousness. And also the nice thing is, because we are all working together to please our Guru and Krishna, we can put aside all our difficulties and egos, because normally in the, I would say, material world, the different characters what we have in ISKCON or in the community, it would be nearly impossible outside that they are coming together, working nicely together, puts their difficulties and distributes to the side, because they just want to please Krishna in the end. That's the magical also of Prabhupada and ISKCON, that he puts all the people together and they preach very nicely to please Guru and Krishna. I mean, yeah, and then in the end part, Prabhupada is saying, in other words, only devotees and no other can understand Bhagavad Gita and desire the desired result. What is our desired result? Go back to Krishna. Or we get Krishna Prem and go back to Krishna. And then, if we still have desire to preaching, we can come back and still distributing books. That's no problem. Like our Guru was saying in one Zoom meeting, actually I want to come back, but first let me stay a little bit in the spiritual world to recharge, and then I come back and continue preaching. Yeah, that's very nice. And also what's very interesting is that one time, basically Prabhupada is saying 3 times that only devotees can understand the Bhagavad Gita. So basically he's pushing this point very much, that we really have to try to become devotees with all the good qualities of the devotees, and besides all difficulties or challenges what we have in spiritual life, we should always continue to come to the temple if you're living outside, if you're not living outside, to stand up in the morning, to attend all the programs. And here, and always try to develop ourselves as devotees, always reflecting what I'm doing, why I'm doing this, doing this for Krishna, or I'm doing this to get some satisfaction for myself. So we always should continually asking ourselves if I'm really honest and serving the mission of Prabhupada, or I just want to have a nice time in the temple and staying a little bit. I mean, it's also okay. The purification will come with time, at least is my experience. But that should be our goal, to become pure devotees of the Lord. I mean, it's actually quite a big task, but with the mercy of Prabhupada, nothing is impossible. Yeah. That is from my side. Somebody have some comment, questions? Yes, Pasha?
I raised my hand. I still don't know what to say, but I hope I hear the microphone. Wow. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice flow, let's say. You were very fluent in going through the purport. It's nice that you stick to the purport and you went point by point. And like my only observation is it's very practical, right? What you were saying, but still you were not talking from your mind. You were actually, talking from your heart. from experiences, from Srila Prabhupada, and yeah, I find this very entertaining, let's say. And yeah, I just want to confirm that point you said where the mind is really strong, because the problem, like I found that my problem is that I don't know how strong is the mind, because I identify myself as the mind, which is the point Janardana Prabhu mentioned a couple of days ago in the lecture, that we identify actually with the mind, and that's why we don't know actually that it's the mind talking and not me. I think it's me talking, it's me wanting and desiring, but it's actually just my mind. So thank you for bringing that up again.
Yeah. Don't worry, Basha. You will find out how strong your mind is.
Yeah, with your blessings.
I mean, it's also a good point, because, like you were saying, normally we're just thinking what I'm saying or thinking is the right thing, but for this we should always confirm with Shastras and senior devotees and with Guru, especially when it's coming to significant decision in our life. For example, if I want to move out in the temple, get marriage or whatever, but really decisions was making an impact in our life, we should always seek the advice of seniors. The best thing is if we have mentors where we always can speak with them, because it's always a little bit difficult for ourselves to see the whole picture, but persons from outside, they have sometimes a complete different, they can see things that we don't want to see, because our mind is always saying, no, everything is very nice, everything is perfect. I'm always a very nice development, but then if you have a mentor and or a good friend in devotional service and Krishna consciousness, he will also tell you, oh no, Pasha or whoever, what you're doing here now, it's complete nonsense, better don't do it. That's at least my experience. No problem.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
I'm just very grateful that I could hear your representation of the scriptures. Thank you.
I'm just repeating what Prabhupada saying.
Yep.
What can I say? I'm nobody.
Thank you.
Someone else? If not, then Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Narasimha Dev ki jai, jai ki jai, Vansha Kalpadabhusha, Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha, Patatana Pavano Vaishnavi Namo Namo, Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai, jai Guru.